Have you ever looked at someone and felt like there was something more behind their smile? Maybe you walked into a room and instantly knew the mood was heavy, even though nobody said a word. Or perhaps you believed someone's words, but later their actions told you the truth. Here's the reality: life becomes much easier, safer, and more powerful when you learn the art of observation. In today's fast world, being able to read people is not just a skill, it's almost a superpower. And the best part? You don't need to say a single word. So, if you want to protect yourself, understand others better, and level up both your confidence and your English, this lesson is for you. Let's dive into the world of human behavior and discover how to truly observe anyone without speaking. Lesson 1: Why observation feels like a superpower. Most people look with their eyes, but very few truly observe with their mind. There is a big difference between seeing and observing. Think about your daily routine. Maybe you pass dozens of people on the street, in a store, at school, or at work. You notice their faces, their clothes, and maybe a few actions. But how many of them do you really notice? How many do you actually understand? Observation is not just about what your eyes pick up. It's about what your mind notices. People are like books. Some are short and simple. Some are long and complex. Some are open, easy to read. Others are closed, mysterious, and hard to figure out. Sadly, most of us only glance at the cover. We label people too quickly: he's smart. She's unfriendly. He's funny. She's rude. But that's not observation. That's assumption. True observation is different. When you observe, you slow down. You notice the small things. The way someone's voice changes when they talk about something emotional. The way their shoulders tighten when they feel uncomfortable. The way their eyes light up when they're excited. Over time, these little signals become patterns. And patterns tell the truth. This is why observation feels like a superpower. It makes you wiser in relationships because you can sense what people feel even when they don't say it. It helps in your career because you understand who is confident, who is nervous, and who might be hiding something. And it protects you, because when you see warning signs early, you can avoid a lot of pain. But here's the hidden bonus: when you start observing others, you also start observing yourself. You notice your own habits, your own body language, your own reactions. And that self-awareness is the first step toward real growth. Remember this: judging is quick and shallow. Observation is slow and deep. Judgment closes the mind. Observation opens it. And when your mind is open, you see the world, and people, in ways others completely miss. That's the power of true observation. Lesson 2: Start with curiosity, not judgment. If you want to become a powerful observer, the first step is mindset. And the right mindset is called curiosity. Most people move through life with judgment. They see one action, hear one sentence, and immediately build a story. He's lazy. She's selfish. That guy is weird. But those stories are built on almost nothing. One glance. One word. One reaction. And when you judge too quickly, you stop learning about who the person really is. Curiosity changes everything. Curiosity means you're not trying to label people, you're trying to understand them. Instead of saying, "He's rude," you ask yourself, "Why is he acting this way today? Is he stressed? Did something happen to him?" Instead of saying, "She's cold," you wonder, maybe she's shy. Maybe she's protecting herself. Maybe she doesn't feel safe yet. This tiny shift, from judging to wondering, opens your eyes wide. When you judge, you think you already know the answer, so you stop observing. But when you're curious, you keep looking. You keep listening. You notice more. And here's the bonus: people can feel curiosity. When you approach someone with an open and curious mind, they are more likely to open up, show you their real self, and let down their guard. That's when real observation begins. Curiosity also makes you emotionally stronger. Instead of reacting to people with anger or sadness, you stay calm and ask, what made them act like this? That pause between reaction and reflection gives you power. It makes you wiser with every experience. So train yourself to ask better questions inside your mind. Don't label people too quickly. Stay curious. Because every person you meet is carrying a story you haven't heard yet. And curiosity helps you see that story. Lesson 3, watch their body, not just their words. Most people listen only to words. But here's the truth, words can lie. People often say what they don't mean. They hide behind polite sentences. They smile when they're hurting. They agree when they're uncomfortable. But the body? The body almost never lies. Your body is always speaking. The way someone sits, the way their eyes move, the way their hands fidget, it all sends signals. For example, crossed arms may suggest defensiveness or discomfort. Leaning forward usually shows interest. Avoiding eye contact can mean nervousness, hesitation, or guilt. Repeating small movements, like tapping fingers or biting nails, often signals anxiety. Mirroring your actions, like copying your posture, usually shows trust and connection. But here's a very important rule, never judge from one single movement. If someone crosses their arms, maybe they're just cold. If they look away once, maybe they're thinking. What matters are patterns. Let's say every time you bring up a certain topic, the person avoids eye contact, gives short answers, and stiffens their posture. That's a pattern. That means the topic touches something deep, maybe something they're hiding or uncomfortable with. On the other hand, if they lean forward, smile, and get animated about another subject, that shows passion and excitement. You don't need to be a psychology expert to read these signs. You just need patience and awareness. Sit back. Watch quietly. Let your eyes and mind work together. Studies even suggest that more than 70% of human communication is nonverbal. That means the real story is written in facial expressions, posture, and tone, not in the words themselves. So remember, when words and body language don't match, believe the body. Because the body always tells the truth. Lesson 4, listen more than you talk. One of the biggest mistakes people make is this, they want to be understood more than they want to understand. They talk, they explain, they interrupt, without realizing that while their mouth is busy, their eyes and ears are closed. But great observers know a secret, silence is powerful. When you talk less and listen more, people reveal themselves. They fill the space with their own stories, their emotions, their opinions. And if you're truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak, you'll notice details most people miss. Here's an example, let's say a friend says, "I'm fine, everything's okay." If you're only half listening, you accept it and move on. But if you're a careful observer, you'll notice the slight pause before they said, "fine," the way their voice dropped, or how their smile didn't quite reach their eyes. That tells you the truth, they're not fine. Listening is more than hearing words. It's hearing tone. It's paying attention to pacing. It's noticing what people don't say. Sometimes silence itself is an answer. So the next time you're in a conversation, try this simple trick, count how many times you speak versus how many times you listen. Aim to listen twice as much as you talk. You'll be shocked at how much more people reveal when you give them space. Observation begins in silence. And silence is where truth lives. Lesson 5, observe reactions, not just actions. It's easy to notice what people do. But a master observer also studies how people react. Reactions reveal more than actions. Imagine this, someone walks into a room full of strangers. That's the action. Now watch the reactions. Do they scan the room with confidence, or do they shrink into a corner? Do others smile at them, or avoid eye contact? Do they take up space, or try to disappear? Reactions are windows into emotions. When you pay attention to how people respond to situations, you discover their comfort zones, their fears, and even their hidden strengths. For example, show someone a compliment, how do they react? Do they smile genuinely, or brush it off awkwardly? That shows their relationship with self-worth. Give them a challenge, do they lean in with excitement, or back away in hesitation? That shows their mindset toward growth. Share your opinion, do they respect it even if they disagree, or do they instantly get defensive? That reveals their maturity and emotional control. Reactions are powerful because they happen quickly. They're less filtered. They slip out before the person has time to hide them. That's why they're honest. Here's a secret, if you really want to know someone, watch how they react when things don't go their way. Everyone can look calm when life is easy. But pressure, stress, disappointment, that's when their real character shows. So don't just look at what people do. Look at how they respond to life, to challenges, and to you. Reactions are the fingerprints of personality. Lesson 6, notice the environment. Here's a truth most people ignore, people don't exist in isolation. They are always connected to their environment. And if you want to read someone, you also need to read the context around them. Think about it. The same person acts differently in different places. At home, they might be relaxed and casual. At work, they might be serious and professional. At a party, they could be loud and energetic. Put them in a stressful situation, and suddenly they're quiet, reserved, even defensive. The environment is like a stage, and the person is the actor. If you only watch the actor but ignore the stage, you'll miss half the story. Here's an example, imagine someone sitting in a cafe, scrolling on their phone. That action by itself tells you almost nothing. But if you notice the environment, are they waiting nervously for someone? Are they checking the door every 2 minutes? Are they leaning back calmly, enjoying their coffee? The environment gives meaning to their actions. Observation becomes powerful when you connect behavior with context. Always ask. Where are they? Who are they with? What just happened before this moment? People don't behave randomly. Their surroundings influence them. And if you learn to connect environment with behavior, you'll always understand more than the average person. Lesson 7, patterns speak louder than moments. Here's one of the biggest mistakes beginners make when trying to read people, they overreact to a single moment. Someone avoids eye contact once, and you think, they're lying. Someone laughs nervously once, and you think, they're insecure. But life doesn't work that way. Everyone has moments. What matters is not the moment, it's the pattern. A pattern is when behavior repeats itself. Again and again. In different situations. With different people. That's when you can trust what you see. Think of it like watching a single frame of a movie versus watching the whole film. One frame tells you almost nothing. But once you watch the full story, everything makes sense. For example, if someone avoids eye contact once, maybe they were distracted. But if they avoid it every time you bring up a certain subject, that's a pattern. If someone gets angry one day, maybe they were tired. But if they explode every time things don't go their way, that's a pattern. If someone helps you once, that's nice. But if they consistently support you, even when it's inconvenient, that's a pattern of loyalty. Patterns are the truth of human behavior. And the best observers are patient. They don't rush to conclusions after one moment. They wait. They watch. They collect data. And when the pattern is clear, they know exactly who they're dealing with. So here's the golden rule, never judge by moments, always by patterns. Because patterns don't lie. Lesson 8, the mirror effect. One of the smartest ways to observe people is to notice how they mirror, or don't mirror, you. Humans are natural imitators. When we feel comfortable around someone, our bodies naturally sync. We copy their gestures, their tone, even their posture. For example, if you lean forward during a conversation and the other person also leans forward, that's a sign they feel engaged and connected. If you smile and they smile back naturally, it shows warmth. This is called mirroring, and it usually happens unconsciously. But here's the interesting part: when someone doesn't mirror you at all, it can reveal distance, disinterest, or even hidden tension. If you lean in and they lean back, or you open your arms and they stay closed off, their body is saying, "I'm not fully comfortable here." Pay attention to this subtle dance. Mirroring often shows trust and connection. A lack of mirroring can point to walls or boundaries. And sometimes, if you mirror someone gently, they start to relax and feel more understood. Observation isn't just about watching, it's also about testing. And the mirror effect is a powerful test. Lesson 9: Observation begins with yourself. Here's a truth most people forget: you can't truly read others until you can read yourself. Think about it. If you don't know your own habits, your own body language, your own emotional triggers, how can you tell the difference between what belongs to you and what belongs to them? Self-observation is the foundation of mastering human behavior. Notice how you react when you're nervous. Do you tap your foot? Avoid eye contact? Speak faster? Notice how your tone changes when you're excited, or how your posture shifts when you're tired. When you understand your own signals, you won't confuse them with someone else's. You'll know, that reaction is mine, versus, that reaction is theirs. Even more powerful, self-observation makes you more authentic. The more aware you are of yourself, the harder it becomes to lie to yourself. And when you're honest with yourself, your observation of others becomes crystal clear. So before you try to read the world, practice reading the person in the mirror. That's where mastery begins. See what others miss. Observation is not about being sneaky. It's not about controlling people. It's about awareness. It's about protecting yourself, understanding others, and deepening your relationships. When you learn to watch quietly, to notice patterns, to read reactions, to understand environments, and to start with curiosity instead of judgment, you start to see what others miss. And here's the secret: the more you practice, the sharper this skill becomes. One day, you'll walk into a room and instantly sense the mood. You'll meet someone new and quickly know if they're trustworthy. You'll hear words, but more importantly, you'll see the truth behind the words. Observation is a lifelong practice. And if you commit to it, it won't just make you smarter, it will make you wiser, calmer, and far more powerful in the way you live your life. So from today forward, stop rushing. Slow down. Watch. Listen. Feel. Because every person you meet is telling a story, even when they're silent. And if you train yourself to truly observe, you'll hear that story loud and clear.